Ben, let's come on to you. And what's Imperial College been up to?
That's a very good question. Yes, you brought them up earlier with Neil Ferguson's involvement in the COVID scenario, and they're running a big event this week called Leading Systemic Innovation in Healthcare. Let's hear a bit more about it.
This is a really exciting time in healthcare. We stand at the dawn of the greatest changes in science, medicine, and technology. But on the other hand, we have growing levels of ill health and sickness. So our challenge is, how do we reconcile these two worlds? And this is the innovation challenge in front of us. Imperial is an ideal place to explore these innovation challenges in healthcare. It has a great history of innovation. It has a business school, but it also has a medical school and links to hospitals. So it's embedded into this healthcare system and has, therefore, a 360-degree view of these kind of challenges. We will be covering themes such as the future of healthcare. So we were looking at these major trends and how they like to play out that shapes the landscape we're in. We'll be investigating more deeply innovation as we currently see it through products and services, but also extending that to systems innovation. How do we innovate our organizations and the ecosystems? This is an important piece that's often missing from thinking. We'll then dive deeper into looking at some of these frontiers of what's happening in genomics, personalized medicine, as well as AI and behavior change and other dimensions that form the suite of capabilities required to be successful in healthcare. And then we'll finish off with looking at how do we bring these innovations alive within our organization at a faster pace than we're currently used to. And how do we think about our organizations as cultural platforms for innovation? What does this mean for leadership? What does it mean for the culture of change within our organization? So there'll be some practical tools and insights that people can take away and bring benefit to their organization. This program provides an ideal opportunity to bring people from across the healthcare spectrum together into the same room. So this program is going to give people an opportunity to meet peers across the healthcare spectrum, together exploring this shared innovation challenge of how we improve the quality and impact of healthcare writ large.
So that is an event that is happening this week. It's happening right now, Leading Systemic Innovation in Healthcare. It's an executive education program at Imperial, heavily backed by the Gates Foundation, the source of a lot of the misinformation which led to the lockdowns and everything that we had to live through back in 2020 and subsequently. The guy speaking was Andy Wilkins. He describes himself as a futurist, always slightly suspicious of people who call themselves futurists, to be honest with you. And he's very excited about AI, genomics, and behavior change, which is the full suite of capabilities for healthcare systems leadership, right? This is their little box of tricks that they've got to get you to do things that you want, that they want you to do and to experiment on you. I was really quite taken with the image at the top there, because what that is a view inside the Digital Control Centre. You can see that it's the Imperial College London Sentinel programme, delivered in partnership with the Defence Science and Technology Lab at Porton Down. Right, so this is a joint partnership between them, and this is essentially the systems leader view of all of the fake data coming from the dodgy PCR tests that are going to flash up on screen so they can play whack-a-mole across the country. They've got the US up on the screen there, but the same thing, absolutely the same capability is in place and applies in the UK. There's another view of it here you can see, which was in the video shared. And basically this is where they call the big shots centrally across the whole of the population. I think that gives you a really interesting insight into how the whole system operates in the background and how these big decisions got made. Now, talking about dodgy data, I'm going to flip from pandemic data and health data into the climate debate. And you would have noticed over the past few weeks that people like the Met Office have been trying to convince us that it's been the hottest May on record, that we've been breaking all sorts of barriers in terms of the heat that we've experienced in the country. But anyone who actually lives in the country, has been in the country the entire time, knows that that's complete nonsense. We've even seen snow in Scotland over the past few weeks, right? This just doesn't make sense. And you hear a lot of people saying, oh, well, they're really getting desperate now. They're going to try and pull one over on us, but we're not going to go along with it. But I think what it's important for people to understand and to remember is that this isn't actually directed at you. This is directed at young people, right? So the people that have been completely immersed in this whole narrative through their education and don't have the context. They weren't alive in the 90s or even earlier than that, for example. So they don't know. Right, so they very much go along with what they've been told. They've been G'd up into this climate anxiety, right? Especially younger women, right? And this certainly feeds into what I was talking about earlier in terms of female leadership. And what you have is people like Greta Thunberg or people like Clover Hogan, who you can see here in this Guardian article, who's becoming much more prominent, essentially terrorizing young people to get them to go along with whatever recommendations are made. In this instance, as it relates to the energy system, it will be Great British Energy, right? This new nationalised energy system that the Labour Party is going to try and push through. They're going to push it through not just on a climate issue, but also on a national security issue. So he's talking about closing the door on Putin. This is Keir Starmer. But obviously, we know that it's not just about Russia. The Lammy has been playing kiss up to Zelensky. This is just yesterday from the D-Day celebrations. So you can see that the Labour leadership are very much on the narrative as it relates to Ukraine. And actually, the World Economic Forum has just announced this week, this is actually last week, this is a huge, huge development. They've just announced a new global government technology centre in Kyiv, which is going to focus on public-private partnerships, digital transformation, and delivering the fourth industrial revolution. That's what they're absolutely focused on, and that's what this propaganda push is going to carry us into if we don't pay closer attention to it. And then just a final one to wrap up here. We've also seen this week the Sustainable Markets Initiative, Terra Carta. They had their big meeting over in New York. The S30 group of chief sustainability officers, attended by Arlo Brady, representing Freud Group, Gold's House, hosted by Estee Lauder, which is connected to the Rothschild family, EY, who I've talked about at length previously. And this is how, again, the narrative is being played through by Team Global.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.